On this week's episode of Garage Talk, we finished off the Indy Racing World Series at Indianapolis in dramatic fashion and Pocono. That was a pretty good race.
It was. And oh, by the way, when I said McLaren needs to bottle it for Max last week, I wasn't being serious, guys. We'll talk about that.
NASCAR goes to Talladega. Somebody ran out of fuel at the end, and we're getting ready for some Martinsville action. All that and more right now.
Welcome to an all-new episode of iRacing's Garage Talk. I'm DJ Plug.
I'm Erik Richardson.
And we finished our Indy Racing World Series schedule on Tuesday this week. Uh, that was a wild
We
finish.
we definitely finished it with a flare.
That that last restart, that was pretty chaotic. And I'm kind of glad the iRacing race control let us race to the finish because there was just stuff going on left and right on that final lap or two.
Yeah, it seems like if you take the white flag, it will let you race back.
Yeah, as long as like the lead is not screwed up terribly. Uh, I don't even know where to start on that. I'm not even sure what all happened on there.
Yeah, we took the restart with 2 laps to go. First lap was just fine, but going into 1 lap to go, everybody bunched up. We nearly took it four wide into turn one.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
You don't like to go too wide into turn one in
N-
Indianapolis.
No, there were a few times where people went on that high line in turn one early in the runs, and I'm just like, you are not gonna make that stick. And
I I would have been very interested to see how that last lap had turned out had netcode not put a damper on it. Because that took out two, maybe three people that were contending.
yeah, there were a couple of. I mean, there was a like Derek went off into the grass and came out, and he took out Jacob Barker. Oh, and also Derek clipped Colton's rear wing. I had a direct view behind this, and Colton had some self-healing net code that seems to happen from time to time, where I thought I had a chance to catch Colton after he was hit. He was racing for the win, and Derek kind of clipped him, or maybe came close to clipping him, and I saw his rear wing fall off and then come
Oh,
back and then reappear again. I was like, wait, what? No.
well, going into that, I had a nice run coming off of turn four. Colton's guarding to the inside as you should. And so I took the outside line, which put me on the outside. And then out of the corner, I did see Matt, who would go on to win the race. I saw him coming up on the inside. I'm like, oh man, I know we are going three wide into turn
Yeah,
one.
that was the winning
And
move right there.
it really was. But that's where I would have liked to have seen how it turned out. Because I was on that outside. I knew I was going to make the turn. It would have been fun to see if I brushed the wall into that short shoot. But unfortunately, I was trying to pinch the inside cars down a little bit, and iRacing's predictive programming, like, oh, nope, you ran into a car, and I felt it get loose, and really,
Yeah,
going back to look, I was well clear. Colton was on the inside of me, and it said we hit, but it was
yeah,
nice and clean.
and somehow I squeaked through completely clean through all that chaos, and we're coming around turn four, and I see Matt and Colton racing for the win, and I'm just like, come on, come on, come on, because have you ever noticed every single time that when there's a photo finish at Indy, it's always the outside line guy who wins?
Mhm.
Always. And I'm trying to position myself that I could squeeze myself in and maybe we make this a three wide. And I mean, I think I was 4/10 of a second off, so I didn't quite get up there. I didn't, I honestly, like, if we had another lap, I would have caught them. And, that would have been really interesting. But, it was it. And walking away clean through that chaos and walking away on the podium, I mean, I'll never complain about that. That was,
Yeah, one more lap, being on the outside, going three wide to one, I'm going to back out of that
yeah. Oh, yeah.
because I know I'm in the danger spot.
The, the other interesting thing, which I still haven't gone back to watch, is I stayed out an extra lap on when the leader finally went in for that last green cycle pit stop, or one of the last. Because I think a bunch of us stopped on the final caution before that 2 lap shootout, and I got some tires. I don't know, 15, 20 laps into my tire run, so I cycled them. But I go in for a green flag stop. I thought I had a really good entry. I thought I had a good pit stop, and I come out of the pits and I go from being in the lead to 22 seconds back. I'm like, wait, how did that happen? And I mean, the only thing I can think of is maybe I slowed down a little too much, but 22, I was actually, I take it back. When the leader pit, I was about 8 seconds back. So, I mean, it wasn't as much of a drop, but I went from 8 seconds back to 22 seconds back when the cycling finished. I'm like, how did I lose that extra, 14 seconds there? And I must have slowed down too much before I
I
went
can
into the
tell
pit.
you Barker was
You
phenomenal
what?
on green flag stops. Because two occasions I came in like just chilling right behind him, and I come out and I've lost 3.5 seconds.
Yeah, that was entry. It's so easy to lock those cars up on entry when you're coming in at speed. And I mean, I was probably a little conservative to make sure that one, I didn't lock up and spin, and two, end up in the wall in the process. And I'm sure that's part of it. But either way, season's over. Somehow I walk away P2 in the standings. Don't know how, especially after
Yeah,
my black flag for internet connection at Las Vegas, my disastrous of a run at Portland. I'm still walking away P2. I was just like, okay. I mean, Matt Faust was phenomenal all season from start to
yeah.
finish. Like there
Matt
was,
stayed strong. He was
he,
what, 3 wins,
yeah,
which isn't really a lot for a season champion, but he's just always up front.
yeah, he was really, really good. So looking to build off of the momentum coming up next season, whenever we restart it again. Um, I think our big focus there is recruiting, get those numbers up. I mean, we got a good group. We just, we get a few more people in there consistently every week. And
Yeah, if
there's
we
some,
could just consistently be in that 14, 18 cars, I think it'd make it really fun. I think there would be a few more cautions, which is okay. It's going to add some fun dynamics, especially for pit stops. Do I pit? Do I stay out? Do I give up the track position for tires? I think it gives some really fun things.
yeah,
But it was such a fun group this year too.
yes, it was. That was absolutely fun. And I'm pretty confident a former driver will be returning to the series next season. That should up the competition as well. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I think we got a good thing going there. We just got a little bit of cleanup, got some recruiting we need to do, and I think that series is looking pretty solid. So
Yeah, it's a good group.
a lot of fun too. Like issues happen. There's some experience we're out there getting better, but it's what it is. Moving on
Yeah,
to
we're doing some
Wednesday.
good stuff.
Yeah, moving on to Wednesday.
No, Wednesday. Man,
I I was just so it was interesting. The longer the run, like I mean, I think my issue was I was so slow at Pocono, but I noticed after that first caution, we had a really long run. And I was starting to pick people off in that longer run where it was just like I was being, I guess, too conservative with my tires. But it really like as we got longer into that run, I was starting to pick people off left and right. I was like taking 4 seconds off over a few laps with people. I'm like, okay, so maybe the reason why I'm slow is I'm just being too conservative here, which in that long run that was helpful, but still I got caught up in that. I don't know. Somebody took me out from behind. I wasn't even in the big wreck. I got taken out from behind in that big wreck that caused the overtime restart.
Yeah, I got caught up in that too. I think part of it I was just being dumb. I saw smoke and I should have backed out quicker. But then
I
again, I was also shading to the inside of a car, and then all of a sudden he moves. I'm already slowing and braking at this point, but he moves down, and I'm like, oh crap. And then I just plowed into Jax. I felt so bad.
I I plowed
I
in.
couldn't see you.
I got plowed into and I hit that inside wall really hard and I'm like, please stay running, please stay running. And I'm just like, I still have fast repairs. And I'm driving around and I'm like, what turn are we? Is this two? And it was after turn two, so I only had to like limp around and like, oh, there's the pit entry road. And I'm looking in my mirror and I just see the just massive amounts of black smoke spilling out the back of my car. And I'm like, please don't blow up on me. Please get to the pit lane. And I limp into the pit lane when it's closed, so I had to fall to the back of the line.
I did the same
Yeah.
thing.
I'm just like, whatever. I'm still on the lead lap. I'm still out here. And I think I restarted 14th. I had a good restart and moved up to like 11th, and then I fell back down to 13th. I got pinched on a three wide in turn two, and I'm like, I have to back out of this. So this, we're gonna have a big incident. So I ended up backing out and letting the two cars go ahead. It's just I didn't play that right, but that's
Yeah,
what
it
it is.
actually set all that up. I think there might have been another hint of netcode, which brought out a caution, which ultimately led to that accident. We were coming off of turn one. I might have been drifting up, so I think it might have been a little bit on me with Casey. But I think there was a touch of netcode, which sent me out to the right just that ever so much more, which ultimately got me spun, which then brought out caution. That we were closing at the end and we were pushing up to P5 at that point. Nice little battle there in that 6, 7, 8 spot. That was a lot of fun racing.
It was just for me. It was just like I knew what the problem was. I just couldn't figure out why I was having the problem. And it's like you're looking at the telemetry, and it's like, okay, I see what's happening. I'm not able to like these people are getting full throttle way earlier than I am. But like every time I seemed to try that, like I wasn't sticking, and I would wobble really badly, or I'd spin myself coming out of one of those turns, and I'm just like, okay, I'm don't understand what I'm doing wrong here, but it's stuff to work
Yeah,
on.
it's definitely a tricky triangle for a reason.
Yeah, it's. I think one of the coolest parts about it is when you're kind of packed up together at the restart and you go through that very subtle turn two together. That has like a very road course feel to it when you're all kind of piling through there together, and it is a really cool look. But glad
Yeah,
glad to get that over
Pocono
with.
almost drives like a road
It
course.
does drive like a road course, but
It's not an oval. There's three turns. They're all different, like all different bankings.
it's a triangle.
Yeah,
It's a triangle. It's an independently owned track still somehow.
and it's funny they put on there what turn for.
All right, so got the iRacing stuff out of the way. U.S. Grand Prix
Some stuff happened at that one.
stuff happened. Stuff happened and stuff didn't happen. Last week I said that Max is sitting there waiting in the wings, and he needs McLaren to implode to catch both of them. And then what happens on turn one of the sprint?
They
Both
implode.
both implode, and then all of a sudden Max gets his 8 points, they get zero, and then Max wins the race on Sunday. McLaren, well, Lando was what, third?
What were they? 3-5, three
Yeah, three
six.
five, I think. So the lead with five to go has been cut, and I think it's what, 40 points now?
I believe so. It was what I think 63 going in.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
it is
thing that
40 points between Max and Oscar right now.
the thing I find funny about the sprint race on Saturday, you have Zach Brown trying to blame Nico Hulkenberg for that.
I think I pointed this out to you, and I texted somebody else, and after the wreck, they cut to the McLaren box, and there's Zach Brown. He's just sitting there staring at a screen, and the camera was on him on that he's looking at, and so he's just staring at himself, and it's one of those like infinite images of him staring at himself,
Mm.
staring at himself, staring at himself, and he's just not moving. He's just like just contemplating life, basically.
He had on that,
I didn't see that he blamed Nico. That's ridiculous.
yes, I forget where I saw that. Trying to be like, why is he there? It's like, well, he's trying to go to the outside of Alonso in turn one. But I, I like Piastri, but it's one of those, what are you thinking? Like he
It's
tried to turn back under Norris, which lap two on, that is a fantastic move, and he was going to pull it off. But you had
uh,
17 cars right
not everybody
behind
caught,
you.
and and stuff like that's happened multiple times before. I remember a few years ago, Carlos Sainz had that happen to him on lap one. It's just like that's like, honestly, like I don't like COTA is a great track, but it's like once Max was in the clear, he was gone, and it's like 2023 Max all over again. But it's like the most interesting part of that race was what happens lap one, turn one.
Yep. The
And
race on
it,
Sunday, they were much cleaner.
yeah, yeah, they were. That's where you like, here they go at turn one, everyone hold your breath. Oh, they made it.
I did see something just the other night, um, maybe accurate, but George Russell talking about you just have to qualify and there's like no racing anymore.
Yeah.
If I could have qualified 400s faster, I would have been on the front row and I would have been a podium. Instead, I was sixth.
Well, the
Hopefully, the new car will help with some of this.
yeah, it's who was it? Was it Bortoletto who got like the black and white flag in the first like five laps of the race? Too many off tracks. I think he was having a lot of problems in qualifying. But yeah, somebody got a black and white flag for too many off tracks in like the first five or
Uh,
seven laps.
Kimmy, I know, got one.
So the last thing I want to say on COTA is I think the one of the funniest parts of COTA is just like all the people that like dress up like cowboys for the event. And it's like that scene from Back to the Future 3 where, at the beginning they send Marty back in time to 1885 and they dress him like a cowboy and it's like
But,
like he looks
no,
ridiculous and 1885 Doc, the original Doc is like, who dressed you like that? You're gonna get yourself killed looking like that because you
that
did.
you did.
Which, you believe that movie's celebrated its 40th anniversary?
Yeah, it's wild.
That's
Uh,
such a great movie.
the one thing I
It's a
still
good
have
trilogy too.
with, yeah, I like it. The second one is probably my least favorite, but I like all three. It's a great
Uh,
series.
they took the same strategy like as the original Star Wars trilogy. Because the first one has like A New Hope vibes for sure, where it's just like, you kind of down to the dumps and things are looking up. And then the second one is really dark. It's got that Empire Strikes Back vibe to it. And then the third one has a lot of like Return of the Jedi qualities to it as well,
Mhm.
where it's just kind of like, hey, upbeat, things work out in the end. yeah, the time machine gets destroyed, but hey, look, Doc Brown figured it out. It follows that same formula, and it's like two gets crapped on a bit, but I think it's really good. And for the same reason, I think Empire is probably my favorite Star Wars movie. Wasn't when I was a kid, but look, now it's like that movie was so good.
And I do agree with that. My one take still with Formula One, I wish they would get away from this whole, it was my turn. Wait, you should back out because I was in front. Be like every other series and race through these turns side by side. Like,
Whose
learn
corner
how to
was it?
do
Whose
that.
corner was it? Their nose was
I
millimeters ahead,
dove
so it was theirs.
I dove in there. My nose was at the front at the apex. It was my turn. He should have backed out. No, figure out how to race side by side through some of these turns, through the chicanes, through the huge turn one at COTA. Like, that would make some fun racing, trying to get your competitor offline so you get the advantage.
Yeah,
Or, I'm going to take the disadvantage on this turn because I'm going to find a way
like
to get a run and then be on the inside on the next turn.
like the gentleman approach.
'Cause it's fun watching IndyCar. I mean, look at NASCAR. They're going too wide through the bus stop at Watkins Glen. Come
Yeah,
on.
well, I mean,
Anyone can do that.
they could also bang the crap out of each other and be fine. I love that clip though on from the Coda and Lee Diffie's like, and they're going through and everybody makes it through okay. And then they cut and then there's Kyle Busch spun backwards. Except for Kyle Busch.
Again, if they kept track of it, he has to lead the number of self spins.
Probably.
I feel like every race he self spins somehow, somewhere.
On the topic of NASCAR, honestly, I didn't watch very much of Talladega this weekend.
I went back and watched it later.
I mean, I saw the finish of the Cup race. I saw bits and pieces in the middle. Um, I mean,
Stage racing is hurting Talladega, Daytona.
and the thing too is like the whole reason, not well, not the whole reason. One of the reasons why they went to stage racing is back in the day, like they'd have these cars, they had like I vividly remember a race where like Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson are sitting like 22nd, 23rd, and they're basically stuck to each other's bumpers. And then late in the race, they're like, all right, here we go. And then took off. And they didn't want that anymore. And it's
See, I
like
enjoyed that. That was fun.
they didn't want I think one of the things that they don't talk about enough is how the drivers within a short distance could talk to each other. And that not only did it provide an entertaining dynamic to hear like, Kyle and Kurt Busch like, "Hey brother, need a push?" That I thought that was a lot of fun. I mean, is it kind of cheesy, gimmicky? Yeah, sure. But I don't know. I looking back on that, I thought that was actually a lot of fun for that direct communication happen.
That is cool. It, it just takes away from those races when you just sit and run 50% throttle. You're at the back. I'm going to be at 20%, just cruising, just going to make fuel. I
Looking
think
at
too much it takes the race aspect out.
the the item of note from the Xfinity race is that Connor Zilisch finished 23rd, and it's his first time finishing outside of the top five in like several months.
I feel like anybody but Connor Zilisch winning was, whoa, what happened?
Yeah. So the with this, championship four format, there's talk of which would be the bigger, I guess, upset disappointment going into Phoenix if Corey Heim loses the Truck Series, who's been Connor Zilisch like all year in the Truck Series, or Connor Zilisch loses the Xfinity Series because Justin Allgaier is really good at Phoenix, which would be the bigger disappointment of the two, given that both of those were hands down the best driver all year, and then get pinched out on the final race.
I think Zilisch losing's the bigger one.
Because
If you go full
Heim
season, nobody's even close.
Heim has won like 10 races in the truck series this year or something like that. I mean, it's absurd. Just or five checking six, seven, nine. No, I thought it was 10. Anyway, I can't count. It's early, but he's won a ridiculous number of truck races this year. No one's anywhere close to him, and I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think Zilich has got that phenom title to it. I think it would be more attention if he missed out on it. But I don't like
And you
Corey
have
Heim is look,
Junior, who's already talked about it.
yeah, Heim has looked really good in the truck series, and it's like if he misses out, man, that would suck. So Phoenix Raceway, the truck championship is on Halloween night. So they're trying to like have Halloween activities at the track to try to get like people to show up on Friday night. And they're having like costume contests, and there's this like big long list of rules of like um obviously like they have to be appropriate costumes, but then there's this big disclaimer on like uh if your costume has anything that could be perceived as looking like a real life weapon, it is not not allowed in here.
Hopefully they won't have 14 restarts for
Oh,
Green
that
Light
was
Checker.
ridiculous. That was
Was
ridiculous.
that 2, 3 seasons ago?
Yeah, that was actually Corey Heim
Ooh.
getting mad, started that chain reaction, which led to all those restarts. That was ridiculous. Um, yeah, the weather here has been all over the place, and yeah, we had like 5 straight days of rain. They said that was the first time Phoenix had 5 days in a row of measurable rain in like over 100 years. So we're looking at, let's see what the early race day of my weather app would load. All right. So the truck race probably gonna be mid 70s, maybe dropping down into the upper 60s at night, which not bad for racing.
Not too bad.
No, so Xfinity race probably be in the mid 80s for that, so it'll be a little bit warmer than usual, but um good weekend coming up. But we got Martinsville coming up as well this weekend.
We're not going to see a wall ride.
No, no, well, not a legal wall ride. Don't don't ask Christopher Bell. So
Yeah, let's get
the
Chris Bell's thoughts on that.
I have to say though, Chase Briscoe, man, he has really come into his own in the last couple of months. He's looked really good out there, and he said it
Yeah, he's
earlier this
rolling.
he said it earlier this season. He's like, if I don't win in a Gibbs car, no one's gonna offer me a job anywhere else. Like I gotta win here. And after that, that comment, he kind of turned on that, found that switch, and he's looked really, really good.
Yeah, beginning of the year is kind of just Gibbs and Hendrick, but here recently it's just Gibbs.
Just Gibbs. Well, I mean, it didn't help that Kyle Larson and William Byron restarted 1-2 and then ran ran out of fuel on that. There's nothing more terrifying as to a driver knowing that in the last lap or so at Talladega that you could run out of fuel.
Yeah,
It's like
especially
if
up front.
if you're in the middle of a pack and you run out of fuel, like Larson, he was on the inside and dropped down to the apron, basically, or dropped down to the low line onto the apron, whatever. And you could just see him falling way back fast. But it's just like you've seen that before, where somebody's run out of fuel and you've got 10 cars directly behind him and just plows right into the back, and that's how the big one starts. And that's like still terrifying to think about.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad this weekend, but again, saw Toyotas get involved in stuff. Just you have to push so perfect in those
Yeah.
that they tend to wreck.
Yep. But
Hopefully they
Denny,
redesign something in the off season.
I remember hearing last year after they redesigned, and it's like that nose is really weird. Um, yeah, so our bet of Logano going back to back is looking very bleak.
We
Uh,
figured probably as much because
it's an odd
it's
year.
an odd year.
It's an odd year.
But hey, we got Martinsville. I think he still has PTSD if he ever sees the DeWalt 20 behind him. It was Kansas been 17 at that point. I can't remember.
So Logano did win at Martinsville a couple. Actually, he's won a few times there.
He's had success there. Yeah, it was in the 20, the Dollar General car.
He he won in April of 21 was his most recent win. March of 2019, October of 2017, April 2016, November 2015, March 2015. I mean, it's been a while. And not in the next, actually, in the next gen car, he's not been very good. But, in October 2022, he was already clinched, I think. In 24, he was clinched. He finished 12th, 15th, and 12th were his last three finishes there. So it's like, yeah, there's still a chance. Not looking good, actually. Not looking good for few of the playoff drivers, including, it's Blaney, Logano, Chase Elliott. Any one of those three, they need a win.
Hmm. Yeah, Bella looks to be in a pretty good spot.
Bell's 37, Larson's plus 36. And then yeah, Byron minus 36, Logano minus 38, Blaney minus 47, Chase Elliott minus 62. So basically Larson and Bell are competing for that third spot. And if one of those bottom four win, they're gonna have the fourth spot, and one of those two could get hosed here. Or the bottom four make no effort, or make have no chance of winning, and you're gonna see three Gibbs cars and Kyle Larson going for a
I
championship.
think he very well could.
I mean, that seems like the most likely scenario here.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see what happens. It'll be a good race to watch.
I mean, the Xfinity series, Zilisch is through. I don't think Allgaier is quite through yet, but he's plus 76. Like, think he's
That
o-
should
I think he's okay.
pass.
And you got Jesse Love plus 40 and Carson Kvapil plus 11. And then you have Sammy Smith sitting just on the other side of that. So coming up, we got Martinsville. Someone's gonna win a clock. I still remember back to Ty Gibbs where he like wrecked his teammate because he wanted the clock. Most Ty Gibbs thing ever.
That's haunted him since pretty
Yeah,
much.
that was kind of his like there was always that nepotism piece there, but after that, yeah, I mean he won the championship the following week in the Xfinity series, and he had the tragedy of his dad dying that night in his sleep that night, and after that, it's just been he goes up to the cup, it's been downhill. Yeah, and now he's really facing he's only there because of Pop. Pop
He's
is
had some good runs, but hasn't
hasn't quite pushed through yet.
gotten it.
I still think it's funny when Phoenix in March and Ty Gibbs comes walking through, and my wife's like, he looks like he's 12. And I said,
He does.
yeah. It's funny though to look at like William Byron, and it's just how like the facial hair changes you, how old you look. Because like Byron had that I'm 12 look, and then he grows a beard, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, now he looks his age. But the thing with like Ty Gibbs, but the thing although with Byron too is that Byron looked like one of those guys that like this guy's never going to be able to grow a beard, and then one day he walks in with a beard, and like, where'd that come from?
It's like then the opposite. You have Ross Chastain who always has a beard, then he shows up at a track like, who
Who are
are
you?
you?
And people are like, no, grow the beard. You look way better. with beard. Then you got Blaney who starts the year clean shaven, and the beard shows up throughout the year. And
You got the season-long playoff beard.
but and other news, Daniel Suarez is headed to Spire next year. That's
Haley is out in the
Yep.
seven.
We knew that for a couple weeks now, but I'm not sure if there's a ride for him in Cup next year.
I don't know where it'd be.
Not a full-time ride. I think he's gonna probably end up back in Xfinity. But that
It
happens.
seems logical.
All right. Oh, still see, we're at that point of the year now where we're recording these early and it's still dark outside when we start this. I can see the sunlight starting to creep through under my blinds in front of me here, but
Well, and some of it's hard just because I have a harder time recording at night, which is why unfortunately you have to wake up so early. It's
yeah,
like my normal get up time.
yeah. I mean, I'm only getting up like 45 minutes earlier than I usually do. So get this done before work. But uh Martinsville this weekend, you got Mexico this weekend, a Mexico race and no Checo this year. Oh, that'll be back, next year.
We'll be back next year. Caddy.
Uh yeah, so good schedule of racing this weekend and should do it for this week. So again, thanks for tuning in. Check out the season finale of Wednesday Night Dash from Phoenix next week. I might be out of the car and into the booth Wednesday night. We're trying to see if we can get somebody else to fill in so I don't have to miss the finale, lose
Part of
out on
me
those
was thinking
points.
last night, like, no, I should just join DJ in the booth. I have nothing to gain.
Just say screw it. I mean, I figured that I could lose like 3 spots in the standings. I mean, granted, I'm sitting 10th right now. Like I could be as high as 8th, or I could fall to like 13th, depending on how things shake out next week. So if
Either way, my
13th if I
season
don't
is
show.
gone. I'm sure I'll find a way to finish at the
I
bottom
mean,
again.
since your number switch, you've been better.
Yeah, had better runs. A little unfortunate last night, but the number change has helped, I think.
Yes, it's funny how something not performance related at all can improve your performance. It's like, I need to change the number on my car. Has
And
absolutely
I brought
nothing
the
to do.
heart. I think a
Uh,
lot. I brought the Hardee's car back.
you did.
Richmond was dismal, but I didn't run Hardee's.
Yeah. Richmond was dismal. Oof. All right. So check out season finale next Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, Stadium Scene TV. Check us out at F Racing Online on social media. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm doing better with subscribers lately. I'm happy with that.
Well,
So,
thank y'all for following and listening to us.
and
Thank y'all so much.
we'll see you next week.
Take care.